Sahana bhavatu, Sahana punaktu, Sahaviryam karavavahai, Tejasvinavaditamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Samasta Jana Kalyani Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahma Vidvaram Sadgurum Brahma Vidvaram. To that silence which is in the heart of all of us, behind the thoughts of all of us, in every emotion, in every thought that we experience. My namaskar to that silence. We're talking about the mind. One of the most beautiful faculty of our intellect is the ability to discriminate. To discriminate is to distinguish, vivek. Discrimination is always between two things. Animals also have this power of discrimination. But we can do certain type of discriminations which animals cannot do. We are going to do those discriminations which animals can't do. Animals also know what's right and wrong to some extent. They know this is my, this is not mine. If a dog comes from one gully to the other one dog barks. Mere gully mein kyun aaya? Bow bow, get out from here. So these things animals also know, we know. But certain type of discrimination an animal just can't do. One such is called sadhan sadhya vivek. The discrimination between the means and the goal. If someone asks you, how did you come over here? And you say, we came by a bus or a car. No, how did you come here? We left the bus at a point of time and then we walked, isn't it? So you left that vehicle, that means, and then you adopted another means. Are you using your legs now? No, you folded them up. We didn't need to use them. It got us to where it wanted to get us, and then we stopped using. So, what means to use when? For how long? When do you stop using it? Which is the next means to be adopted? Where will it get us? Where will it not get us? This is the type of thinking all of us should do about life. Do you agree with me? Animals can't do this. Very often it happens that we mistake the means for the goal and the goal for the means. Get into a lot of trouble because of that. It's called avivek. Now, I ask this very often to youngsters. What is the goal of your life? And then I get this varied answers. Someone says, I want to become an engineer. Someone says, I want to become a lawyer. I want to become a crorepati. And then some say, I want to become Miss Universe. Nowadays, there's this chakkar of Miss Universe also. So I want to become Miss Universe. I want to become this now. When you tell me you want to become an engineer and that's the goal of your life, the day you become an engineer, you should die. Isn't it? Because you have achieved the goal of your life. Now why do you want to live? So becoming an engineer cannot be the goal of your life. Agreed? Yes. It could be a professional goal, an intermediate goal. Isn't it true? But it's not the goal of your life. When you ask the person the question, what's the goal of your life? Either they've never thought of it, or they give you some answer like that. And the fact is we are living, so we might as well know why we are living. The purpose of living. There was this man who got into a train. And a ticket collector comes and says, ticket dikhao. He says, I don't have one. Are? How can you sit in the train without a ticket? Okay. From where did you get in? Which station did you get in from? I don't know. You don't know? Kamal hai? Okay, where do you want to go? Where do you want to get down? I don't know. Are? तो ट्रेन में क्यों बैठा? He says what? I don't know. What do you call a person like this? Very often that happens to us also. Where have you come from? Where do you want to go in life? Why are you living? Someone said, because I am not dying. That's why are you living? Now, it's a very simple thing, you know. First question we as human beings should ask is, what is the purpose of life? Why are we living? Why this human birth? What am I supposed to achieve in this birth? You understand? What is the means to get there? Whatever you want to do. Now, what is money? Is that a means or a goal? Are you sure? You'll say that even when you go out from here? Means. Okay, fine. Money is a means. Agreed. It's a means to what? In the language of economics, what is money? Money is something, it's got exchanging power. It's a power, of purchasing power. Exchanging medium of purchasing power. So what can money buy? I'm going to say a statement which sounds very ridiculous, but it's not as ridiculous as it sounds. Money can buy what money can buy. Money cannot buy what money cannot buy. Okay? So what can money buy? Money can buy us things, comforts, luxuries, objects of pleasures, etc. It's true enough, you can buy. And what can money not buy? Can it buy you peace of mind? Can it buy you sleep? A sleeping tablet? Yes. But sleep? Can it buy you hunger? You've got a very bad stomach and you go to the doctor and say, here is 5 lakh rupees, make me hungry. Can buy you hunger. Can it buy you friends? Chamchas? Yes. Friends? Love? Isn't it true? Now, if in our mind at some time this sort of a thought comes that money will make me happy, that's called avivek. Have you got this point? I'm not saying money is not required in life. It's required. It's important. It gets you things. Absolutely true. But if we think that money can buy us peace, happiness, etc., then there is what is called avivek. Because you have a means which will not reach you to that particular goal that you seek. Some garbad has happened. You've mistaken for the wrong means for the wrong goal. And therefore, this sort of a discrimination is so important. Do you agree? At what time do you think in your life you should do this discrimination? When you're 80? 60? The sooner the better. Do you agree with me? The sooner the better. We must. God, or whatever you call him or her, because God is not a man or a woman. Now, God or truth, is it a means or a goal? And what do we normally think? Isn't it true? Bhagwan, exam pass karai dejo. You know how badly I've done. You know I haven't studied. Easy paper, Bhagwan. Isn't it? There was a small kid who went to the temple and praying sincerely, Bhagwan, make China the capital of America. What is this? What type of a prayer is this? Why do you want to make China the capital of America? Because that's what I've written in my exam. You please change, nothing. Yeah? So Bhagwan becomes what? The means. My chokre na lagan thai jain to. All these type of this. So Bhagwan becomes what? Means. Bhagwan is so kind that even if you make him the means, he still blesses. That's the greatness of Bhagwan. He says, Kaiwan. At least mari પાસે જ આવ્યો ને બીજે કશે નથી ગયો ને બહુ સરસ સારું તથાસ્તુ. So be it. But he is the goal. He's not just the means, but he's the goal. So very often we think of Bhagwan only as the means. That's called lack of discrimination. You understand? It happens very often in our life. We think, and then at the end of the day we say, I wanted this but I never got it. Why didn't you get it? Because that was not the means at all. You took something else and you got something else. So this is very, very important. It's called what? Sadhan, sadhya, vivek. The discrimination between the means and the goal. Then there's another one which is very, very important, and that is called Ansha Anshi Vivek. The discrimination between the part and the whole. Not H-O-L-E, W-H-O-L-E. The part and the whole. Very often we mistake the part for the whole and the whole for the part. Or we give one part out of proportion importance and we forget the rest of the parts altogether. We ignore so many things which we should not ignore, and we otherwise make one thing as the most important thing and everything else is forgotten. Isn't it? When you passed your 12th standard, all your teachers and your parents and everyone, most important year of your life. Didn't they say that? The most important year of your life. The most. I'm not saying it's not important, but it's not the most important year of your life. You understand? I know of a girl, Kerala state rank holder, 97.8% marks in the exams and got admission in one of the best BBA colleges of south of India. I'm not south of, in India only. And thousands had applied, 50 girls got admissions, 50 students got admissions, 2 girls got admissions, she's one of them. She went to college the first week. The senior girls ragged her, not even boys, huh? And she went completely mad. Gone. The psychiatrist had to come in, the parents were brought in, and the psychiatrist said, minimum 5 years, don't even dream of sending her to college. Now she has to stay. Now, 12th standard, the most important year of your life. You get this? Yes. When we think like that, it's important, but not the most. Every moment of our life is what? Is important. And in fact, the most important moment of your life, because that's the only moment you have to live. Is it true or not? You can't live your past. Future has not yet come. You understand? So what is the most important moment of your life? Now, here and now, this moment. You understand? And what happens is we say, this is the most, and a particular age is said the most important age, or this is, the time is the most important. And what happens? We neglect the rest. We don't think about the rest. So therefore, everything in life must be. Now, all of us have 4 layers to our personality. The physical, the emotional, the intellectual, and the spiritual. All of us, no exception. And what happens? One layer of the personality is given out of proportion importance. You understand? And then what happens? The other gets completely neglected. We talk of physical development. And then what happens? Emotional gets stunted sometimes. We don't even think about it. Or intellectual development. You've heard of a person called Stephen Hawking? You know, his brains, he's written this lovely book called Brief History of Time. It's a very lovely book. And this man, they did his, brain mapping. And they found that he uses 4% of his total brain power. Now imagine if Stephen Hawking, such an intelligent guy, uses 4% of his total brain power. How much do you think you and I must be using? Most of our intellectual abilities are not even touched upon. Do you agree with me? We have so many, like observation power and organizational skills and creativity and sensitivity. There's so many beautiful powers of the intellect. They're not even touched. And in the education that we go through, it's only 1 or 2 faculties which are really, taxed or, taken into consideration, like short-term memory. Not even memory. It's only short-term memory. And a little bit of understanding. Isn't it true? I've always told, school teachers and college professors and all, whatever paper that you have given to the students before the vacation, or the finalists, after the vacation, just give the same paper to the same students. What will happen? Majority of them would fail. Isn't it true? Because whatever was there, you just... and after that, it's like clean slate. Ready for the next year. So, there's so many intellectual abilities which we have not even dealt with. We have to think of a holistic approach to things, not little. And of course the spiritual development, which is so very important in our life. So important. So therefore, we mustn't focus only on parts, one thing, and then make it so important. Sometimes relationships. One relation is considered as like, is it true? One person says, you are my life. Hare Rama, important part of my life, fine. But you can't say you are my life. There's so many more things to life. And then what happens? One relation, and something goes wrong somewhere. I want to die. But one relationship, come on. He doesn't talk to me. Lucky you. One little thing goes somewhere wrong, And then we start thinking also, just me and my family and my little... And then what happens is, in that thing, something goes wrong somewhere, little bit, and no one really supports me. No one understands me. 2, 3 people didn't understand you. For some reason, little... And we get depressed and we get, frustrated. And, as I told you, marks play, out of proportion. I'm not saying don't get marks, but I'm saying, that's not the be all and end all of the world. And then you don't get these little marks and you say, I'm going to die. So there are people who do that. I didn't get admission in this. Now nothing is working for me. Nothing. This didn't work because it wasn't meant for you anyway. And so out of proportion importance to particular time of our life, to particular, relationship, and then we neglect the whole completely. We don't even think about it. Life as a whole. We only plan for little things in our life, isn't it? Immediate goals. In 2 years' time, I want to do this, and I want to finish this, and then I'll do this. Have you thought of life on the whole? What are you going to do when you become old? I don't even know whether I'm going to become old. Why should I think about it? Isn't it? I'm not saying you have to brood about it, or you have to, get anxious and worried about it, but at the same time, we prepare for so many things in our life. For exams and stuff like that. There are so many important roles in our life for which you should prepare. Do you agree with me? Like becoming a parent. Like becoming a spouse. Like becoming a grandparent, as and when it happens. And what happens, so many of these roles are not even thought of. And then they happen, and then we don't know anything. We only know how to become engineers, and so professionally and technologically we are so savvy, and that's about it. And very basic things about even living with each other and, communicate. It just gets, because no one's ever thought of it. You agree with me? Yes. And very, very important things of our life. They're very important. No one prepares us. And we don't ourselves go out of our way to find out how. And then we see examples around us and we say, oh, this didn't work, and so it won't work for me, and that happened, without really getting to know how to play these roles of our life. How to be a better sister. How to be a better brother. How to be a better, a friend, or whatever. Every role that we've got so many roles that we play in our life, right? Yes. And they're also important to us, agreed? Yes. And they fulfill us? Yes. All these various roles in our life, they make us a whole person. Make us so. And very often it happens. In fact, nowadays we see a lot of this. Whenever a person goes to a party, normally what happens, if it's a whole family party, then the kids all one side, then the young one side, then the older, everyone is segregated into small, little pockets. And you put them all together and they just don't know what to do with each other. Isn't it true? Yes. It's so sad. This world is not made in parts. This world is made as a whole. I should know how to relate to an elder person. I know I've seen many times, when a very elder person is put with a very, young child, they don't know what to tell each other or talk with each other. They'll say, Nam su che taru. So they'll say, Nam su maru Raju. Okay, very good. Raju school e jai che. Ha. Raju kai school ma jai che. So Raju goes to this school. So which standard do you study? Raju says, first standard. And that's about it. The conversation is over. Now he doesn't know what to talk with him. He doesn't know what to talk with him. Both of them looking at each other. Chalo, apne TV જોઈએ. So you get it. I should be able to communicate with every age group. Every type of because that's the way the world is. The world is not like in parts like that. Nothing is segregated. It's a whole thing. And when I'm not so prepared, or I always feel I'm more comfortable with this and this alone, then what happens is all the time I myself do the segregation. Oh, I'm with people I like, I don't like. This is my group. This is not my group. This is, all the time your intention of trying to separate and segregate things, which is not healthy and right. Because the world comes as a whole. And people come as a whole. We don't even accept people as a whole. Isn't true? We'll say, you change this, and then I accept you. So, Aunshi Vivek. We were doing the discrimination between the part and the whole. parts together form the whole. Every part has its place, importance, and every part must be given its due attention. But we must also see the whole. Without seeing the whole, knowing the whole, if our attention is only on the part, then we never know how the part really fits into the whole of our life. You understand? If we don't have this sort of a overall vision of life, then only the part is seen, and then you will never understand its real place in our life. Some things have to be given more important. Prioritize it. Some things are okay, not so important. But if I don't know this whole, those most unimportant things will become what? Sometimes if you see, you have cried for very silly reasons, which you later realize, I shouldn't have cried. And for things you should have cried, you did not. Some person who would have said something which was not really, to be even heard, or even it wasn't meant for your ears anyways. But you heard it, and that bothers you so much. And you keep thinking about it, and why did it happen, and why did this happen? You waste so much of time, energy, etc., etc. And then you realize, oh, they weren't talking about you, they were talking about someone else altogether. Are Raman, yes. So you give small little things out of proportion importance, and things which are really, really important. This is because we don't have this vivek. It's called avivek. So this is called ansha anshi vivek. God is the whole or a part. And sometimes what happens? We make him, isn't it? I know of someone who said, I'm interested in flower decoration. I'm interested in cooking or something. And I'm also interested in God. What? Also, like one more thing, It's like one small extra part. No, he is the whole. It's because of him we exist. If he weren't there, there's no part at all. Nothing. And therefore, this discrimination is very, very important. Then there is something called Shreya Preya Vivek. Shreya, that which is good. Well-being. Kalyana. It's good that I'm talking to Gujaratis. If I talk to South Indians and you say the word Kalyana, Kalyan for them means marriage. Marriage થી કલ્યાણ થાય કે નહીં તો ભગવાનને ખબર પણ. Well-being is, for your good. And prayer is what you like, which is pleasant. So the discrimination between the good and the pleasant. Unfortunately, in our life, all that is pleasant is not always good. And all that is good is not always. Getting up early in the morning is what? But isn't it true? Keeping awake late nights is but